here are my strategies that support students' play and creativity. So the first strategy that I chose was having open-ended materials. This allows students to have access to certain materials, such like building blocks, school supplies, and resources that allows them to join. Um, I mean, that allows them to use their imagination to their fullest. That allows them to express themselves, and just to become social as well. Encourage this type of imagination that um, could allow the teacher to see what type of a student they are. Um, and this just encourages them to express their imagination, their problem solving skills, and become more independent and open minded. Because at the same time, like some other things you could use are recycled items, and kids could go crazy for those type of stuff in a good way that like allows them to make like, oh, like a recycled water bottle could be like a microphone or like things like that. And strategy number two is having protected time. So I think this is one of the most important strategies to have in a classroom setting, just because it does allow them to not always be on one lesson, but allows them to take a break, and where they can all have fun, where they could express themselves, learn things on their own, and it just helps them become independent as well. And having protected time is an important factor to apply in a classroom setting, because it allows students to be able to use their imagination and allow them to take a break from the lesson that they are learning about. It's more for giving them a break as well, time for them to express themselves. That helps them explore their language and social skills, as well as problem solving. Um, like I said, I think this is like one of the most important factors. Like I believe that this is a must in every classroom setting, just because it does allow them to become more independent. So my reflection, looking back at my childhood, I can now see why these strategies are important to have in a classroom. I have noticed that taking breaks and having protected time was one that allowed me to make friends, as to we all had to socialize. When when you have teachers that give you options to use different things such as recycled items, old things, it allows our minds to go crazy in a good way, and allows them to see how we are as a person. Going back to the protected time, like I said, I think it's also very important, um, because protected time just allows them to, work by themselves independently, talk to others without having a teacher necessarily like observing the whole time, if that makes sense. And it's just a very good way to practice social skills, language skills, friendship skills, basically like the base of how to talk to people, if that makes sense. And this is important because it just allows them to talk and get along with one another. And a question that I had is, how do teachers apply these strategies when it comes to testing? The reason why I'm asking this question is because I feel like during testing, students are all just like sitting down at a desk, where they have to take a test for who knows how long. Maybe a brain break here and there, but how would you imply protected, like, children's play into this? Um, as well, like, how would you imply, um, I mean, with resources, I know there's many ways, but like, how are you able to do give them open-ended materials that are not like part of the test, if that makes sense? For example, like, oh, like, will teachers be able to imply like building blocks for like a math test, using like, oh, having 5 blocks, what's 3 plus 2, and then just having like blocks to help them like figure it out, if that makes sense. And yes, that will be my whole presentation. Thank you so much for staying and listening to me. Unfortunately, I was not able to work my camera. I've tried everything, and my laptop ended up glitching, so I just had to do it one way or another. And like I said, thank you so much, and